Now, while it is crucially important in terms of self awareness to understand our own attachment styles and how they do help us in forming and sustaining our current relationships, much like we spoke about in part one, I, of course, also have to highlight the philosophy of non attachment, which is something, different than what we were talking about previously. But since we're utilizing this word attachment so much previously, I thought it would be a good place to go from there. Now, there's a lot of talk about non attachment and also some misconceptions, I think, as it surrounds this philosophy. So essentially, non attachment is mentioned in many old wisdom traditions, such as Stoicism, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity, and many, many others, honestly. Non attachment is described as a state in which an individual overcomes their own personal emotional attachments to things or people or places and thus attains a higher perspective of themselves and the overall collective. So essentially, there's a lot of various perspectives concerning the idea of non attachment, as we mentioned previously. So I'm going to kind of go through a few of them to give kind of a better example, multi perspective example on what this entails. So the first one that we're going to talk about or highlight is freedom from being under the control of lust, cravings, and desires. Now, this is not to say that feeling these things is categorically bad. However, we come to a point in practicing detachment where our behavior is no longer driven by these things, and fulfillment from them becomes lessened because these engagements become less needed or wanted now because of that reduced fulfilling capacity that they have. Again, no reason to feel bad for experiencing cravings and desires and such because they're completely normal human tendencies. So the second one we're going to talk about or highlight is one who is responsible and active does not worry about the past or future. The detachment is towards the result of one's actions rather than towards everything in life in general. So again, here we're not detaching from life itself or from sensation. Rather, we're on the journey of becoming less attached to outcomes and possessing, harsh expectations, really rigid beliefs and such. So we're not detaching from emotion. Rather, we are experiencing emotion, experiencing the world, and experiencing the moment. So another one here, fame or self, which matters more? Self or wealth, which is more precious? Gain or loss, which is more painful? He who is attached to things will suffer much. He who saves will suffer heavy loss. A contented man is rarely disappointed. He who knows when to stop does not find himself in trouble. He will stay forever safe. So this again in line with the others, highlighting the notion of not holding on to something as if it might last forever or as if we hope that it did. It's kind of like that picture, which I couldn't find for this video, of a hand holding onto a rope with something heavy attached on the other end. But the rope is wound so tightly that the hand is turning red and it looks painful. So again, this in reference to being attached to possessions, relationships, people, career, etc. Now, the next one that we're going to go over is eradicating the tendency to react emotionally or egotistically to external events, the things that cannot be controlled. This is an optimally rational response to the world, for things cannot be controlled if they are caused by the will of others or by nature. Not only one's will can be controlled, or only one's will can be controlled. So that did not mean, again, a loss of feeling or total disengagement from the world, just a non-attachment. Again, highlighting not disengaging or detaching, just simply detaching from one's attachment to things or outcomes. So we have these two perspectives, right? The mind and the deeper self. So the ultimate aim here, or in my intention, is in being able to highlight and recognize and combine both of the psychological aspect or the attachment styles as well as the more subtle aspects of self, our more deeper philosophies that we act from for balance, on the way to self mastery. So I appreciate you tuning in and watching, and hopefully you did gain something useful to use on your journey to the core of self. So thank you.